Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jasson. We're downtown again at the beautiful Fairfield Federal lobby down here on another beautiful day in Lancaster and Fairfield County as we're taping. Glad you're with us. Fall time of the year, great time of the year to be around in Lancaster and Fairfield County. One of the events that kind of is an annual event now at this time of the year is the big Lancaster High School Band Invitational, and who better to talk about that than the Lancaster High School Band Director, Ben Factor. Ben, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Exciting time of the year to, football obviously is a super exciting time anyway. You've got enough going on in your own world of high school football and halftime shows and things going on each and every week. But now on top of that, you add coming up here shortly on October 22nd. Saturday out at Fulton Field, the Lancaster Band Invitational. How many years have you been doing this? It's been going on quite a while.
Yeah, our first year is 1981. This is the 42nd.
Wow, it's kind of a big deal out here anymore, and the bands come from all over, and we'll talk about those involved in that. But I guess the only thing, you hope for good weather. That's the way if you have a day like this, that would be wonderful. You'll take that.
Absolutely.
How many bands will be involved in this?
We have 16, which is actually as many as we can handle.
Okay, that's a full day.
It's a full day, yeah, starting at 5 o'clock.
And it's 5 till, I don't know if it's 11 or till it's done?
Yeah, awards will be somewhere around 9:30.
Okay, yeah. so it's a full day, and I'm sure during the pandemic that took a toll on how this was run.
Yeah, we had to be very creative. Most competitions around the state didn't happen that year for obvious reasons, and that was right in the midst of the worst part of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I felt that it was such an important event that we would continue on. Bands weren't competing that year. There was no competition, but we had a festival in 2020. Yeah. We did some creative changes, including clearing out the stadium several times to get more parents in, socially distanced. Yeah. And we went to online ticket sales, which actually worked out great, and we're still doing that now.
And that's something I usually ask any guest, whether it's almost any nonprofit business, whatever it was. You had to do very creative things, as you indicated, for a couple of years, both from Lancaster High School aspect, from the band aspect, from how you do the invitational. And I always ask them, did you do anything in that time that you never thought you'd do, as you had to think out of the box, that you've kept? And that's one of them then.
Yeah, that's certainly one of them. The other thing that we've talked about before is being out in the community and doing our neighborhood concerts, community concerts.
Yes.
Which during 2020, when we didn't travel, we went around the community and performed. We just did one earlier this season at Primrose Community, and we played for the...
I know they appreciated that.
It was a lot of fun.
Very receptive.
Did
the kids enjoy that?
They did.
Go out there. I mean, it gives them a chance to play their horns a little bit more.
Absolutely. And the Friday nights that we're traveling a little bit too far to be practical, we can stay here in town and give back to the community.
Yeah, well, I know over the years, Lancaster High School, I mean, even back when Jack Greathouse was involved with the basketball team, they certainly got them out in the community, and I think the band has been involved in that and very community oriented. So now October 22nd, 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock start.
Okay, 5 o'clock out at Fulton Field. It's the big Lancaster High School Band Invitational. You are the host band, obviously. 16, is that 15 plus you?
That's right. Yeah.
15 plus the Lancaster High School Band of Gold will be out there. And for the other 15 bands, I don't know the exact term, but this would be like a judged contest?
Yeah, that's right. There's several classes based on school size.
Okay.
And they directly compete with the bands in their class. But the most important thing is this is an educational event. They get feedback from experts that are up in the press box, educators that give them feedback to get better.
Now, these are judges that you bring in
That's
and
right.
hire, and these are people that really do this, maybe not as their full-time job. Some people probably do because they're probably retired, so they do this. But these are people who have been band directors, people who can assess this.
Yeah, absolutely. And in different captions: music, visual, general effect, percussion, auxiliary. all of those different captions to give feedback to the individual band members.
Now, do you attend any of these band invitationals? I know you're the host band here, but do you go to any of these yourself?
Yeah, we usually go about 4 weekends each September, October, and go different places in the state, and certainly support their band program, their boosters, but travel to different parts of the state, get feedback from different judges in different areas. And,
get some hardware?
And get a little hardware. That's not a bad thing either.
So you've got 15 other bands. Are they from all around Central Ohio?
They are. We have always have some local bands from the county, typically. This year we have Millersport, we have Burn Union and Bloom Carroll, in addition to ourselves. Those are always bands that try to stay local, and we like to be part of the Fairfield County community. We get a lot of bands from southeastern Ohio. There aren't a lot of beautiful stadiums, big stadiums like Fulton Field in southeastern Ohio, so a lot of those southeastern Ohio bands come up our way. So we have quite a few from southeastern Ohio, and then certainly some from central Ohio also.
We know that there's lots of changes going to be going on with Lancaster High School coming up here in the next couple of years. We're going to see an enormous change out there where you are at Lancaster High School. Obviously, that's going to be big. But Fulton Field, has it made a big difference for you having the turf field out there now?
Absolutely, it's been a game changer. So the number of bands that we had previously started to diminish every year, got less and less. And I knew it was because of the turf, because bands just don't march on grass anymore.
Yeah.
The shows are much more intricate than they used to be. It can be dangerous if the grass is wet, if there's
so this makes a
plankton.
difference on that.
It does, absolutely. And there are some bands that choose to only march on turf. They will not march on grass.
Really?
Just because of how challenging the shows are now.
Yeah. But I would imagine more and more places are going to this kind of surface for lots of different reasons. I know Lancaster couldn't get a football playoff game around here until they changed some things and did some things different, so they've done that. But has it made a difference on where you practice and how you practice? Has it opened that up any?
Yeah, we've had a few practices out in Fulton Field. For us, it's a little bit more difficult than having a sports team go down there and practice, because we have equipment and we have a lot of things to haul down there and get set up, and electronics and things like that. But it is very nice to be out there and be able to see what it'll look like and sound like when we're actually in the stadium.
Now how will that change for the band? Because I think, and maybe I kind of forget my years, and we were new out there at Fulton Field and new at the high school in those days, and we marched right behind the high school up on those terrace areas up there. That's going to be the high school eventually. That's going to be that. So how does that affect where you'll be practicing in the future?
Well, for the next 3 years, we're actually on the staff parking lot right in front of the current high school, which is fantastic. It's actually,
that's the one right coming down the hill right there on your right?
It is. Okay. And if viewers know where that is, there's a beautiful hill with the pond up top. So I don't even need a tower like I used to. I stand up on top of the hill, hang out with the deer up there, and it is a wonderful space for us to practice. And actually, when the new high school's built, we'll have a parking lot just for us that will be lined all the time. And the best bands in the country, that's what they're using, parking lots. It's flat, it's safer, it's a whole lot easier for bands to work on.
So, and as we think about Lancaster High School, we'll kind of evolve into this a little bit. You're going to have a nice big band room down there. Will it be much bigger than the current band room you have?
Huge difference.
Which is, as I remember, wasn't all that big 50 plus years ago.
Yeah. We struggle now to find indoor space, especially when marching band season happens. If it's a rainy day, and we've been pretty lucky so far this fall, but if we have a rainy day and we have to fit 100 band members someplace, including large percussion section, color guards, spinning flags, choreography.
Not a lot of room for that.
There's no room for that. Yeah, so we have to be pretty creative, and it does affect our performance when we have no place to go when it's inside. But luckily, with the new high school, we'll have plenty of space.
Is that right? You'll have room to do those kinds of activities for the band?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're really excited about the opportunities that will present once that happens too.
So let's get back to really what we're talking about today. You've got the Invitational coming up here on October 22nd out at Fulton Field. And there's a lot of amenities out there. You know, when bands travel, I know band parents, your parents are a perfect example of that. You have a wonderful booster organization with Lancaster High School that follows you and the percussion around. The others bring parents with them. There's food out there. There'll be good amenities for the other folks.
Yeah, it's a full day event. So it's not only watching the bands and supporting the bands, but there's concessions, there are vendors, T-shirts, 50-50 raffle. So it's a really entertaining night, and it's fun for everybody of all ages.
Well, you've done this for a while now, and I think you're getting pretty good at it. You've got it down. All you need to have is good weather, and the rest will take care of itself.
Absolutely.
So it's October 22nd, 5 o'clock. It begins. The actual first band will begin, and it'll go till 9 or 9:30, and the hardware is handed out, and everybody is happy and goes home with a smile on their face.
That's what we want.
Ben Factor, Lancaster High School band director with the Band of Gold. Ben, thanks for being with us. It's always fun to watch the Band of Gold, and I want to say thanks for a couple of military things we do around the year, the Memorial Day Parade and the Veterans Day things going on. It's always such a pleasure to have the Band of Gold participate in that. That always means a lot to the veterans and everybody involved in that. We appreciate all you do for that.
We're always happy to be there.
Ben Factor does a great job with the Lancaster High School Band of Gold. We'll be back on Fairfield Today.
I want a doctor who listens to me.
From primary care to specialty medicine, we put your needs first by treating you like a person, not a number. Our primary care team will help you identify your healthcare needs and set goals for success, regardless of where you are in your wellness journey. We care for patients of all ages, with offices that are close to you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
When I volunteer, when I come over here, the first thing I think about is my dad. But then also think about all the people that helped us when we were here.
Something brings me here, and I feel that it's my dad's spirit. He wants us here. He wants us to give back because of what I did for him. And I think that's helped me with a lot of my grief.
The support of the people here and the volunteers, that makes it a great place.
Greetings from Fairfield DD. We are excited to share the joys of the fall season with you. As we move into cooler weather, we hope to see you at Football Friday nights and the county fair. As you enjoy the season of changing colors, we also want to remind you of the change we hope to see. We pursue a vibrant community where everyone leads a fulfilling life and everyone makes meaningful contributions. Don't forget to stop by our social purpose enterprise, Art and Clay on Main and Square 7 Coffee House, to paint a new piece for your table this season or enjoy a handcrafted fall beverage.
Bay Food Market is Fairfield County's source for high-quality, locally sourced meats. The meat case is always full of quality fresh beef, pork, gourmet burgers, and gourmet brats for you and your family to enjoy. Bay Food Market cures and smokes their own hams, bacon, and sausage. Visit Bay Food Market at the corner of Maple and Walnut Streets in Lancaster and discover the Bay Food Market difference. Open daily 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., closed Thursday and Sunday. Bay Food Market, proudly serving Fairfield County families for more than 90 years.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
One of our guests we enjoy having on 2 or 3 times a year, head of the Lancaster Community Chorus, Clarence McCoy. Clarence, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Always fun to have you on. Here we are. What number in the sequence for the year of Community Chorus is this?
This is the first
one of the
season.
New season. Okay.
Yes.
And that'll be coming up very soon, November 6th, Sunday afternoon out at Crossroads. And and I'm always fascinated with the titles and with how you program, the different things. There's been so many different ones, poetry and 60s and gosh, all kind of Appalachian kind of themes that have gone on over the years. But it's hard to believe, too, that the community chorus, by that name, has been around a decade now.
That is correct.
That's
we
remarkable.
started in the fall of 2012, so it's been 10 years. This would have been our 11th season, 10th year, but
Funny thing happened on
it's
the
like
way
that,
to
but
11.
a funny thing happened on the way too. So we had the one lost season in there that didn't occur. So it makes this our 10th season as well as 10 years since we started. So back in the fall of 2012. The former group, the Celebration Singers, had decided to reorganize as the Lancaster Community Chorus. We held auditions. It became an audition group at that point. We held auditions in the fall. Had our first concert, actually, an early Christmas concert in early December. The only Christmas concert we've ever done as a community chorus was that first one. Had no idea what kind of numbers we would have show up that first year, and we ended up having 54 at our first concert. We were at Grace United Church of Christ and just
54 in the first group.
In the first group, and just barely fit in our concert space because again we had set all that up, not knowing how many would be there, and we're pleasantly surprised by the number. And then we grew over the years until our last concert pre-pandemic. We were over 90 singers at that point.
Closing in on 100.
We were getting very close, and then the pandemic occurred, and we kind of restarted afterwards in the fall of 2021, and started again right around that 54 number. It's interesting, and then we've begun to slowly creep up in numbers again now. So.
And I will say that thankful to Lancaster and Fairfield County, the audiences have been tremendous for a decade.
Absolutely.
They must like what you're doing, because the concerts, and some I'd say they were sold out. I know you had to bring more chairs in from everywhere out there, Crossroads.
Correct.
But it's been a very popular group.
It has, and we've been just absolutely floored by that and excited by that. I have many colleagues who direct groups similar to this, and their first question to me is always, how do you get an audience like that at your concert? Because they just don't, other places do not, and that's, I think Lancaster and Fairfield County are just special in that way.
I was going to mention that too. Are there other communities around, without thinking about Columbus, but other small, like Newark or maybe Zanesville, other places, do most communities our size have what you might call in some fashion a community chorus?
I a lot of them do. I know Pickerington has a community chorus as well, significantly smaller than ours, but they do a nice job. We did a community choir festival up in Columbus a few years ago, and they were part of that, and all of the groups did a very nice job that was there. I think now Winchester has one. There are ones in the area even, and I think lots of communities of any certain size have at least some sort of iteration of a chorus like this. So.
Well, let's talk about what's coming up here on November 6th, Sunday, November 6th. And again, the themes are always interesting the way Clarence picks them out. And as he indicated, this is the 10th anniversary, 10th or 11th, somewhere in that area, but we'll go with 10, anniversary of Community Chorus. And so it's a decade of song. And I guess I think of it as maybe some of the greatest hits of the past decade you've brought back to redo.
That kind of was my thought going into it, is we have done, as you mentioned, such a variety of different concert themes over the year that I wanted to put together a concert that was representative of that type of programming that we have done. So I sat down with our programs from the last 10 years, and I looked through. It is a lot of songs. I went through and I circled and said, these are ones that we absolutely must include. And I think I came up with a list of like 39.
I was going to say, you have to start winning it down a little bit.
Exactly. And then I started with those 39 and thought, okay, these two are enough alike that I'll just take one of them, or this is representative of this concert, so we'll include that. And from that, I narrowed it down to 15. That we're going to do.
Is that the final number?
That's the final number. That's what we're going to go with. And that was an interesting and a fun process to go through that and review those memories. I did give the chorus singers an opportunity to give some feedback if there were particular favorites they wanted to include, and so we have included those. Particularly the one that we had one that was the most requested from our singers, called "The Ground" by a composer named Ola Yalo. It came from our concert with strings attached that we did with a string orchestra that day. Absolutely gorgeous piece of music, and that was our number one requested song from our singers, and so we definitely included that in the mix. I tried to look at songs that had particular flavor and personality to make sure we included those in the mix, and I think we've come up with a pretty good mix of songs. It's going to be a little bit of something for everyone when we gather on the 6th.
Guest is Clarence McCoy. Clarence is, for our purposes here today, the director of the Lancaster Community Chorus, and you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on with your church choir, with the Lancaster High School boys out there, with your wife Sandy. But I would imagine that when you sat down and started looking over, it probably evoked a lot of memories that you probably don't allow yourself to do much of that because you're so busy in the present rather than thinking about the past. But I bet it brought about a lot of good memories about previous concerts.
That is exactly true. There were many things that in the course of 10 years, of course, as my age advances, I forget lots of things, but as 10 years go on, some of those things you forget. Yeah, absolutely. So as I look through those, there were just, I didn't even remember us doing this, like that, and remember what a special time it was. And when you do think back all of the crowds that we've had, all the different singers that have come through the group during the course of that 10 years, we have people that have come and gone, so those are all great memories as I look back.
So is the number of concerts you've done in the 30s then? Is it like 3 a year? Would that be an average?
3 years what we've done. We've done 2 extra kind of performances. We did a performance with Mary McDonald, the composer. She was in the area, and we did a concert of all her music.
She's something else.
She is, yes. She is a character, no doubt about it. But a force of nature and just a wonderful musician.
Absolutely.
And it was fun to work with her, and we invited some area churches and choirs to participate, to send singers to participate. And that was fun, and we did that. And then we partnered with the Lancaster Festival a few years ago and did excerpts from the Messiah out of Fairfield Christian, and that was also a very fun thing. So there's a couple of extra things we have done, and then that puts us right around 30 as we start into our 10th year.
So it's a decade of songs, and we'll get to those in a little bit. We'll talk about them, but it's November 6th, 3 o'clock out at Crossroads out on West Fair, 2095 West Fair Avenue. Cost to get in is
$10. Tickets are $10. You do need a ticket. There will probably be tickets available at the door, but we recommend getting them in advance.
And you're back into the season tickets now?
There are season tickets available now too, which is an opportunity to save some money. So normally it would be $10 for each ticket. You can buy a season ticket for all 3 concerts for $25, so you save $5.
Could they do that out there too?
You can. That first day, even if they buy a single season ticket or single concert ticket that day, we will allow them to turn that in and take all the money from that and apply it towards the season ticket purchase. And that's always been very popular. And the number of season ticket holders we have had was growing and growing and growing as we have gone through the years. So
the crowds, like I say, have been tremendous on that. So it's going to be a great concert, I'm sure of that. 10 years of the Lancaster Community Chorus, a decade of song. What are what would you call some of the highlights as you look at the list, 15 songs, you've kind of winnowed it down?
Sure, I did, and I tried to include, like I said, ones that were suggested by singers, particularly if multiple singers. I also tried to include ones that we've done in more than one concert, because we have a few songs that we have repeated over the years, and then we've had songs that or some concerts that have become iconic for us as we've done some of our patriotic concerts, that type of thing. So I included some of that. We're doing "We Say Thank You," which was the title of one of our patriotic songs, which is about thanking those who have served in the military. So we've included that. We commissioned a song at our 5-year anniversary, "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing." Nationally known composer Mark Hayes wrote that for us. Yeah, exactly. So we're bringing that back. And then we have commissioned a piece, since this is our 10th year, we have commissioned a piece that we'll be premiering at this concert. So no one's ever sung it before. We'll be the first ones to sing it. It's called "If I Can Sing." It's a text by 19th century poet Sarah Teasdale. "If I can sing, I still am free." And it's been set by Dr. Tim Sarsany, who has served in several colleges in the central Ohio area, has been a singer in the Lancaster Chorale, and he is a published composer as well, and writes some really good stuff, and it's a nice setting of that text. So we're excited to premiere that.
Well, it's going to be fun. I don't know if you got it laid out. Is it going to be an intermission? Other people joining the group? How will it look this time?
Sure. We do plan to have an intermission this time.
Okay.
It is mostly going to be the chorus. We will add some instrumentalists to the group. We won't have a guest artist as we sometimes do. There was just so many songs that we wanted to include of ours. There just really wasn't room to do that. So include as many as we did. That's what we did.
You'd have to pack a lunch if you had much more. 15 songs and then add
15
more.
15 songs, and exactly. Yeah, and we rehearse 8 weeks, 8 rehearsals, and then we do the concert. So that's only, it's a very finite amount of rehearsal time to prepare. And that went into the decision choosing which songs we were going to do as well. Included a couple that are more difficult, a couple that are a little easier. There are some pop things in there. We're doing "Blue Skies," which came from our jazz concert.
That's
we did that.
Song.
Yes, this one. We're doing "Let the River Run," which was from our movie. Which was a pop song by Carly Simon. We're doing "Jabberwocky," was from our poetry concert, which is this novelty piece piece with special effects and all that. And
Special linguistics.
indeed, there are, exactly.
Its own
As
language.
already, absolutely it is. Speaking of languages, we're doing Va Pensiero from the opera Nabucco by Verdi. We've done that a couple of times along
Is this
the way.
the community chorus or the chorale?
I know.
What
it's
have you
a
got
little-
going on here,
A little
Clarence?
bit of everything.
The chorale did
Exactly.
that.
They did, although they did not do Blue Skies or Let the River Run. So we put
Bob
those
Trokey
things
wouldn't have
together.
done that under that heading
Under
up
that
there.
heading,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly right. So, again, a mix that you have to come see all the things that are there. There's folk songs, there's pop songs, there's classical things, there's everything in between. It's going to be
Well,
fun.
it sounds like the theme is a theme about everything.
Absolutely.
All encompassing 10 years of the Lancaster
Representative
Community
of what
Chorus.
we've done for 10 years, exactly.
Well-
We probably do want to say the website is lancastercommunitychorus.com.
Yep.
That you can get information
Good
there
website.
about. There is, absolutely. Good information there about getting the tickets, the season tickets. If you'd like to be a friend of LCC, the folks who donate that just help keep us going, all that information is there, and we would love to have you be a part of Lancaster Community Chorus in that way, as well as coming to the concert.
Heard it from the man, Clarence McCoy of the Lancaster Community Chorus. Great group for 10 years. They've been around doing the kind of things that obviously the people around here appreciate. It's always well attended. I'd encourage anybody to go to the website, lancastercommunitychorus.com. Lots of good information. Clarence, thanks.
Thank you.
Good luck coming up on November 6th at 3 o'clock. Enjoy 10 years.
Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
good.
It's fun.
Clarence McCoy. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.